Take a good look at your legs right now. Not your shoes or the floor beneath you, your actual legs. These are the limbs that have carried you through decades of living, working, raising families, and building the life you have today. Now ask yourself honestly, do they feel the same as they did a decade ago? Or have you noticed them feeling colder, heavier, slower to respond when you stand? Maybe there's a numbness you can't quite shake or a weakness that wasn't there before. If you're over 75, I need you to understand something critical. What you're experiencing isn't laziness, and it's not just getting old. It's your circulation, quietly, gradually slipping away. And here's what most people get wrong. They think poor blood flow starts in the heart. It doesn't. It begins in the tiniest blood vessels hidden deep within your calves and thighs. These microscopic highways stop opening properly, and doctors have a term for it: microcirculatory decline. What it means in plain English is that oxygen isn't reaching your muscles fast enough anymore. That's why your legs feel disconnected, like they're half a second behind what your mind is telling them to do. But here's the good news I want you to hold on to. This doesn't have to be your new normal. When researchers studied seniors who stayed active and mobile well into their 80s and compared them with those who struggled before age 76, they discovered something remarkable. It wasn't about luck, it wasn't about genetics, it came down to nutrient status, specifically certain vitamins that kept appearing again and again in people whose blood vessels still worked like they were younger. Your body isn't broken, it's asking for help. And in this video, I'm going to reveal the 6 vitamins scientifically linked to stronger leg circulation in older adults, ranked from least to most powerful. Stay with me, because the number 2 vitamin on this list shocked scientists when it restored walking endurance and warmth in seniors who genuinely believed their legs were permanently damaged. Want to find out what it is? Before I reveal it, leave a comment below sharing where you're watching from and how old you are. Let's see how many of us are choosing to protect our strength as we age. And don't go anywhere, because coming up next is a simple but powerful tip. Now let's get started. Why blood flow declines after 70. Before we jump into the vitamins, you need to understand what's actually happening inside your legs right now. Picture your circulatory system as a vast network of roads. When you're young, these roads are smooth and wide, allowing traffic to flow freely. But as decades pass, especially after 70, these roads start to narrow, not from cholesterol alone, but from something more insidious. The blood vessels themselves lose their flexibility. Think of it like a garden hose left out in the sun for too many summers. Eventually, it becomes stiff and cracked. Your blood vessels go through something similar. They stiffen, they narrow, and worst of all, the smooth inner lining that keeps blood moving efficiently starts to deteriorate. Add reduced muscle activity, decreased heart strength, and changes in hormone levels, and you've got a perfect storm working against your legs. The result? Your legs don't get the oxygen and nutrients they desperately need. And when tissues don't get oxygen, they send signals: cold feet, cramping, heaviness, that awful burning sensation at night. Your body is literally crying out for help. Let's talk about the warning signs, because recognizing them early can make all the difference. First, there's temperature. If your feet feel cold even when the rest of you is warm, that's a red flag. Then there's color. Pale or bluish skin on your legs and feet means blood isn't reaching the surface properly. Pay attention to numbness or tingling, especially at night. That pins and needles feeling isn't random. It's your nerves reacting to insufficient blood supply. Leg cramps that wake you up at 2 a.m.? Same issue. Slow healing wounds on your feet or ankles? That's because healing requires oxygen-rich blood, and yours isn't getting there fast enough. And here's one people dismiss too quickly: fatigue in your legs that seems disproportionate to your activity. If walking to the mailbox leaves your legs feeling like you've climbed a mountain, your circulation is struggling. Now let's get to what you can actually do about it, starting with vitamin number 6. Vitamin E. Most people think vitamin E is just for skin health. They're missing the bigger picture. Here's what's really happening when your body doesn't have enough E. Your blood vessels have a delicate inner lining called the endothelium, and vitamin E acts like a protective shield over this lining. It keeps everything smooth and slippery so blood can flow without resistance, and it prevents those dangerous blood clots that terrify anyone over 75. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic followed 3,000 seniors for 5 years, and what they found was remarkable. Those with optimal vitamin E levels had 65% better blood flow in their lower legs compared to people who were deficient.
They actually used thermal imaging to see this. Healthy circulation showed up as bright red on the scans, while poor flow appeared as dark blue areas. But here's where most people go wrong. They take synthetic vitamin E supplements that their bodies can barely use. Natural vitamin E from food is actually 8 times more bioavailable than the synthetic version. That means your body can put it to work improving your circulation instead of just flushing it out unused. The best sources are raw almonds, sunflower seeds, and wheat germ oil. But, and this is critical, you need to eat these with healthy fats like avocado or olive oil. Vitamin E is fat-soluble, which means it literally cannot enter your bloodstream without fat molecules to carry it across. If you're supplementing, don't just grab any vitamin E bottle. Look for mixed tocopherols on the label, not just alpha tocopherol. Your blood vessels need all 8 forms of vitamin E working together like an orchestra to maintain flexibility and prevent the oxidative damage that makes vessels stiff and narrow. The optimal dose for circulation is 400 international units daily, but split it into 2 doses of 200 units with meals. Taking it all at once overwhelms your absorption capacity. Most of it just gets wasted. A German study showed that seniors who took vitamin E with their largest meal absorbed 73% more than those who took it on an empty stomach. Your legs need more than just vitamin E, though, which brings us to something even more powerful. Number 5. Vitamin C. Vitamin C might sound basic, almost boring, but when you understand what happens in your legs without enough of it, you'll realize how critical it really is. Your blood vessels are held together by collagen. Think of it like the steel framework in a building. Without vitamin C, your body literally cannot manufacture collagen. The result, your blood vessels become weak, leaky, and prone to collapsing under pressure. Stanford researchers just published findings showing that seniors with optimal vitamin C levels had blood vessels that were 40% more elastic compared to those who were deficient. That elasticity matters enormously because your leg vessels need to expand and contract thousands of times every day to push blood back up against gravity. The problem is that vitamin C is water-soluble. Your body can't store it. Most people over 75 are chronically deficient because they're not getting enough throughout the day to maintain steady levels. Here's something fascinating. Vitamin C doesn't just help make new collagen, it also protects your existing blood vessels from damage by neutralizing free radicals that attack vessel walls and create inflammation. The key is something called the divided dose protocol. Instead of taking one large dose that your kidneys will just flush out within hours, you take smaller amounts every 4 hours to maintain steady blood levels. Fresh kiwi fruit contains 3 times more vitamin C than oranges, and the vitamin C in kiwis is bound to fiber that creates a time-release effect in your intestines. You get sustained absorption over several hours instead of the quick spike and crash that you get from most supplements. If you're supplementing, avoid standard ascorbic acid tablets. They're harsh on your stomach and poorly absorbed. Look for buffered vitamin C or sodium ascorbate instead. These gentler forms stay in your system longer. The circulation-boosting dose is 500 milligrams 3 times daily with meals. Here's the critical part. Take it with bioflavonoids like quercetin or rutin. These compounds protect vitamin C from breaking down and dramatically increase its effectiveness in strengthening blood vessel walls. Red bell peppers are actually the ultimate vitamin C source for leg circulation because they contain both vitamin C and capsaicin, which creates a warming effect that dilates blood vessels and improves flow immediately. If you're still watching or enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a like. It really helps support the channel.
Number 4. Vitamin B3, niacin. Now we're getting into the heavy hitters. Vitamin B3, also called niacin, does something absolutely remarkable that no other vitamin can match. It literally forces your blood vessels to expand within minutes of taking it. Doctors call this a flush. Warm, oxygen-rich blood suddenly rushes through even the smallest capillaries in your feet and toes. The Cleveland Clinic ran a breakthrough study where they gave seniors with poor leg circulation 500 milligrams of niacin daily and measured blood flow with specialized ultrasound technology. The results were staggering, a 180% increase in circulation to the lower legs within just 6 weeks. Many participants reported that chronic leg cramps, ones they'd had for years, completely disappeared.
What makes niacin unique is that it works through multiple mechanisms at once. It reduces the sticky LDL cholesterol clogging your arteries, increases protective HDL cholesterol that cleans your vessels, and triggers the release of compounds called prostaglandins that dilate your blood vessels like opening a highway from 2 lanes to 6. That flush people experience, where your skin turns red and feels warm, is actually a sign it's working perfectly. Millions of tiny blood vessels are opening up, allowing blood to reach areas that have been oxygen-starved for years. But there's a specific way to take niacin that maximizes benefits while minimizing the uncomfortable flush that makes some people quit. Start with just 50 milligrams after dinner for 1 week. Then increase to 100 milligrams for another week, gradually working up to 500 milligrams over the course of a month as your body adapts. The immediate release form is actually better for circulation than extended release versions because it creates that beneficial flush, signaling blood vessel dilation. You can minimize discomfort by taking it with food and avoiding hot drinks or alcohol within 2 hours. Food sources include turkey, chicken breast, and peanuts. But here's something crucial. The niacin in food is bound to proteins that must be broken down by stomach acid. If you're taking acid-blocking medications, you're probably not absorbing much niacin from food at all. The most effective protocol is 250 milligrams of immediate-release niacin twice daily with meals. Always take it with a baby aspirin, 81 milligrams, which reduces the flush while actually enhancing niacin's circulation benefits by preventing platelet clumping. Number 2. Vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is the circulation superhero nobody talks about, and it's absolutely critical for your legs. It prevents calcium from building up in your arteries where it turns them into rigid pipes, and instead directs that calcium into your bones where it belongs. The groundbreaking Rotterdam study followed 4,800 people for over 10 years. Those with the highest vitamin K2 intake had 52% less arterial calcification and 57% lower risk of dying from cardiovascular disease. The improvements in circulation were so dramatic that researchers called it the most important discovery in cardiovascular health in decades. The problem, vitamin K2 is almost completely absent from the modern diet unless you're eating specific fermented foods. And even then, most people over 75 have gut bacteria imbalances that prevent proper absorption. Your leg arteries are particularly vulnerable to calcification because they're under constant pressure from gravity and muscle contractions. Without enough K2, calcium deposits build up like limescale in old pipes, restricting blood flow and causing that heavy, tired feeling in your legs. The confusion about vitamin K2 comes from the fact that it's completely different from vitamin K1, which is found in leafy greens and helps with blood clotting. K2 specifically activates proteins called MGP and osteocalcin that act like traffic controllers for calcium in your body. The Japanese have known about this for decades. They eat natto, a fermented soybean dish with the highest concentration of vitamin K2 on the planet. Japanese seniors have 85% less arterial calcification than Americans the same age. If you can't stomach natto, which honestly tastes like sweaty gym socks to most Western palates, the next best sources are aged cheeses like Gouda and Brie, grass-fed butter, and egg yolks from pasture-raised chickens. But you'd need to eat enormous amounts to get therapeutic doses. For supplementation, you want the MK7 form of vitamin K2, not MK4. MK7 stays active in your body for 72 hours, compared to just 8 hours for MK4, giving you sustained circulation benefits day and night. The optimal dose for reversing arterial calcification and improving leg circulation is 180 micrograms of MK7 daily, taken with your fattiest meal because K2 is fat-soluble and absorbs poorly without dietary fat present. Common mistakes seniors make. Before I reveal the top 2 vitamins, let's talk about the mistakes I see over and over. First, people take vitamins on an empty stomach, then wonder why they don't work. Fat-soluble vitamins like E, D, and K2 need fat to be absorbed, period. Second, they take everything at once in the morning. Your body can only absorb so much at a time. Spreading doses throughout the day dramatically improves absorption. Third, they buy the cheapest supplements without checking the form. Synthetic vitamin E, cyanocobalamin, B12, MK4, vitamin K2, these cheaper forms are poorly absorbed and far less effective. Fourth, they ignore drug interactions. Acid blockers destroy B12 absorption. Blood thinners interact with vitamin K. Always check with your doctor, but don't let fear of interactions keep you from addressing deficiencies. And fifth, this is huge, they give up too soon. Circulation improvements take time. You're reversing years of damage. Give it at least 8 to 12 weeks before deciding something isn't working. Number 2, vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 isn't really a vitamin at all. It's a powerful hormone that controls over 1,000 genes in your body, including the ones regulating how your blood vessels function. Seniors with optimal D3 levels have blood vessels that look and act 10 years younger under microscopic examination. The Framingham study revealed something shocking. People over 75 with vitamin D levels below 30 nanograms per milliliter had 80% more arterial stiffness and 62% worse blood flow to their legs compared to those with levels above 50. This difference translated directly into walking ability and leg strength. Your blood vessels have vitamin D receptors throughout their walls. When these receptors are activated by D3, they trigger production of nitric oxide, the master molecule that relaxes and dilates your vessels, allowing blood to flow freely even through the tiniest capillaries in your toes. Here's what nobody tells you. Taking vitamin D3 once a week in a larger dose is actually more effective than daily small doses. D3 is stored in your fat cells and released slowly, creating a steady supply your blood vessels can use continuously. The sun obviously is the best source, but after age 75, your skin produces 75% less vitamin D from sun exposure compared to when you were young, and that's assuming you're getting enough sun, which most seniors aren't. If you're supplementing, and you absolutely should be, you need to take D3 with K2 because they work synergistically. D3 increases calcium absorption, while K2 directs it away from your arteries. Taking D3 alone without K2 can actually worsen arterial calcification. The optimal protocol is 5,000 international units of D3 taken with breakfast, along with 180 micrograms of K2 MK7. Here's the crucial detail. You must take it with fat from whole eggs or avocado because D3 absorption increases by 50% when taken with a meal containing at least 15 grams of fat. Wild-caught salmon, sardines, and mackerel are the best food sources, containing both D3 and omega-3 fatty acids that enhance D3's circulation benefits. But you'd need to eat fish daily to maintain optimal levels, which is why supplementation is almost always necessary for seniors. How to take it correctly. Before we get to number 1, let me give you the master protocol that ties everything together. Take vitamin E and vitamin C with breakfast, 200 IU of E and 500 milligrams of C. At lunch, take niacin, 250 milligrams with food, and another 500 milligrams of C. With dinner, take your second dose of vitamin E, another 500 milligrams of C, and your second dose of niacin. Take vitamin D3 and K2 together once weekly with your fattiest breakfast, 5,000 international units of D3 and 180 micrograms of K2 MK7. And now for the absolute king of circulation vitamins.
Number 1, vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is the absolute king of circulation vitamins. And here's the shocking truth that will change how you think about your leg problems forever. A Japanese study of 1,000 seniors found that correcting B12 deficiency increased leg blood flow by an astounding 400% within 12 weeks. Some participants went from barely walking to their mailbox to completing 5K walks. The reason B12 is so incredibly powerful for circulation is that it controls 3 critical things: production of red blood cells that carry oxygen to your legs, maintenance of the myelin sheath protecting the nerves that control your blood vessels, and reduction of homocysteine, an amino acid that damages vessel walls and creates inflammation blocking blood flow. Here's the terrifying part. After age 60, your stomach produces less acid and intrinsic factor, the 2 things absolutely required to absorb B12 from food. You could be eating pounds of meat and still be severely deficient. By age 75, up to 40% of people have B12 levels so low they're experiencing neurological damage without knowing it. The symptoms of B12 deficiency perfectly mimic what people think is normal aging: numbness, tingling, weakness, poor balance, and that burning sensation keeping you awake at night. But these aren't normal at all. They're signs your nerves and blood vessels are literally starving for B12. The standard blood test for B12 is practically useless because it measures both active and inactive forms. You can have a normal reading while being functionally deficient.
You need to test for methylmalonic acid levels to get the real picture. Food sources like liver, clams, and beef are rich in B12. But here's the game-changing secret. Sublingual B12 supplements, the ones you dissolve under your tongue, bypass your digestive system entirely and go straight into your bloodstream through the rich network of blood vessels under your tongue. You get 10 times better absorption than regular pills. The form of B12 matters enormously. Cyanocobalamin is the cheap synthetic form your body has to convert multiple times before it can use it. You want methylcobalamin or adenosylcobalamin. These are the active forms your body can use immediately. Take 1,000 micrograms of methylcobalamin daily, letting it dissolve completely under your tongue. Within weeks, you should notice warmer feet, less numbness, stronger legs, and better balance. The number one vitamin explained. Let me be crystal clear about why B12 deserves the top spot. Every other vitamin on this list helps your circulatory system work better. B12 actually rebuilds it. It regenerates the cells, repairs the nerves, and restores the chemical balance that makes circulation possible in the first place. When researchers looked at what separated seniors who maintained strong, healthy legs into their 90s from those who lost mobility in their 70s, B12 status was the single strongest predictor, stronger than exercise, stronger than genetics, stronger than any other nutrient. The transformation isn't just physical. People describe feeling like they've gotten their lives back, the confidence to walk without fear of falling, the freedom to travel again, the simple pleasure of standing in the kitchen long enough to cook a real meal. How it works in your body. B12 works at the cellular level in ways that are almost miraculous. It activates enzymes responsible for creating new red blood cells in your bone marrow. More red blood cells means more oxygen delivered to every tissue in your legs. It protects and repairs the myelin sheath, the insulation around your nerves. Damaged myelin is why you feel numbness and why your muscles don't respond properly to signals from your brain. And it breaks down homocysteine, preventing this toxic amino acid from damaging the delicate lining of your blood vessels. High homocysteine is like sandpaper scraping the inside of your arteries, creating inflammation and blockages. All of this happens simultaneously when you get enough B12. It's not one pathway, it's a complete systemic restoration. Your legs have carried you through life. They deserve better than to be dismissed as just getting old. Every single vitamin I've shared today has solid science behind it. These aren't miracle cures or wishful thinking. They're documented, researched interventions that work. Start with B12, get your levels tested, and if you're deficient, supplementing could change your life within weeks. Add D3 and K2 together for arterial health. Layer in niacin for immediate dilation effects. Support it all with vitamin C and E for vessel strength and protection. This isn't about adding years to your life, though it might do that too. This is about adding life to your years, about walking without pain, sleeping without burning legs, feeling confident that when you stand up, your legs will carry you where you need to go. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need it. Your support helps us reach more people looking to stay strong and healthy as they age. Comment what's your age and from where you're watching from. We love hearing from our amazing community. See you in the next video.